Right.
So, I mean, this is genuinely shocking news.
Oh yeah.
Right? Like this is major news. James Bond is now no longer with the Broccoli's. It's kind of is, kind of isn't. Amazon MGM has full creative control. And what they've done is that they've basically set up a joint venture holding company, which all three of them are part of, right? Barbara Broccoli, Michael G. Wilson, and Amazon. But Amazon has full creative control, which implies to me that they're just using that Broccoli and Wilson are just going to be executive producers. They have nothing else bar that. That's all they're doing.
Yep.
This is huge. This is absolutely huge.
No.
So there's a few things just to go through here. But it says, as per details of the historic agreement, Amazon, MGM Studios, Wilson and Broccoli have formed a new joint venture to house the James Bond IP rights. The three parties will remain co-owners.
Yeah.
Doesn't really sound like it, though. But Amazon will have creative control. Since his theatrical introduction over 60 years ago, James Bond has been one of the most iconic characters in filmed entertainment. And this is Mike Hopkins, head of Prime Video and Amazon Studios. Says further, we're grateful to the late Albert R. Broccoli and Harry Saltzman for bringing James Bond to movie theatres around the world, and to Michael G. Wilson and Barbara Broccoli for their unyielding dedication and their role in continuing the legacy of the franchise that is cherished by legions of fans worldwide. We're honoured to continue this treasured heritage and look forward to ushering in the next phase of the legendary 007 for audiences around the world. And then Wilson chimes in, just goes, with my 007 career spanning nearly 60 years, I'm stepping back from producing the James Bond films to focus on art and charitable projects. Therefore, Barbara and I agree it is time for our trusted partner, Amazon, MGM Studios, to lead James Bond into the future.
I bet his art sucks.
Yeah, and then Barbara was like, my life has been dedicated to maintaining and building upon the extraordinary legacy that was handed to Michael and me by our father, producer Cubby Broccoli. I've had the honour of working closely with four of the tremendously talented actors who have played 007 and thousands of wonderful artists within the industry. With the conclusion of No Time to Die and Michael retiring from the films, I feel it is time to focus on my other projects. She doesn't have any other projects.
What the hell else does this lady do? She's done nothing but James Bond for like years.
Yeah, she doesn't have any projects. And the thing is, it's funny that they're like, our trusted partner in Amazon Prime. You know, it's like, wasn't there something that came out literally a couple of weeks ago where they were like, yeah,
called them effing idiots.
These people are effing idiots. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think that here's my conspiracy theory, right? Are you braced? Are you ready for my conspiracy theory?
I'm listening. What you got?
I reckon, and I bet you I'm actually quite right, to be honest, because they bought the distribution rights, so that they own it, basically. They own how to distribute it. They made it incredibly difficult to get another movie off the ground. Amazon did.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Barbara Broccoli called them effing idiots. I reckon Amazon forced them into getting rid of the property, basically. Forced them into that deal.
It had to have been a hostile takeover with a lot of money involved. You know, when she was talking about how she was never going to let Jennifer Salke make a creative decision because she said, I don't let temporary people make permanent decisions.
Yep. So, it's a quick turnaround, isn't it?
Yeah.
So what do you think? What do you think, guys? Go on, Marvin. You go first, mate. Go on.
It's disastrous. These are the people that sat there and said to this woman's face, I don't think James Bond is a hero. And, you know, because, you know, and then Jeff Bezos immediately took to Instagram and was like, who do you guys want to see as the next James Bond? It's all like they're plugging everything into an algorithm now. James Bond is going to be created by an algorithm. It's going to be given the same level of care and respect that Tolkien's work got with the Rings of Power. It's going to become just another progressive mouthpiece being used by J.J. Abrams' disciples like Jennifer Salke. It's probably going to be handed to another J.J. Abrams disciple, and it's going to just turn to crap. There's going to be nothing James Bond about this by the time that it's done. Amazon Studios destroys everything that it touches.
Not entirely everything. The Terminal List is really good. Invincible is pretty decent still.
They don't produce
Invincible. I do like Invincible. I heard
they don't destroy everything, but yeah, you are right. Yeah, like pretty much wholesale there, I think. It's pretty crazy, isn't it? It's pretty crazy.
Well,
No, not making any choices. No, they're effing idiots too. Yeah, we love them. There must have been some dodgy shit behind the scenes.
That'd be a dump truck full of money. I mean, look, at the end of the day, we know how Amazon looks at James Bond. I don't think James Bond is a hero. They said it. And now these are the people that have unchecked creative control. That's all you have to know.
Go on, culture.
Well, first of all, we're going to get our first brave and bold lesbian Bond. You know, more so than the last, Black Lady Bond. We're going to get a Zeezer or some freak show that's going to portray some kind of a spy, but obviously not 007. This is going to be a catastrophe. And the only way it happened is, I think Marvin's right. They backed up a Brinks truck and said, look, you can still own the license. You can still own this character. You can still own all the rights, but we have creative control. Here's a bunch of money to shut up so we can make our woke bullshit. You know, and again, this, because of Jennifer Salke, if they have full creative control, this will suck worse than Lord of the Rings of Power. I think that the destiny for this going forward, and the fact that they are not a proper, what do you call it, movie studio?
Yeah.
I think that's where we're at. I think we're going to have an absolute catastrophe. Bond will officially be dead. More so than he was in the 25th film, which I still don't believe made $775 million. And even with that, it did not make a profit. There was much shenanigans going on behind the scenes with this Bond film. And the worst decision ever was for the Broccoli family and Mr. Wilson to step far, far away with their property from this, because, you know, they never should have made the deal. And the MGM thing was just a disaster to begin with. And that catalog will only be abused and destroyed further under the control of Amazon, because they are neo-Marxist propagandists. That's all they do. And anything that has been good that you mentioned, and I think Marvin may have mentioned, is not produced by them directly. It's acquired material.
True. Yeah. True. Yeah, because they've got their DI playbook, haven't they, that they work from?
Yeah.
Well, it's all off of an algorithm. They do everything off of AI algorithms. That's why everything feels so manufactured.
Yeah. God, so crazy. So crazy. This whole thing, bizarre. Super bizarre. Do you think this mean that we'll get, like, again, because as you say, they're not a real movie studio, are they?
Yeah.
And a lot of their stuff has just been direct to streaming. We're just going to get, like, direct to streaming Bond. They're just going to dilute it down so much. It'll be like Star Wars, but Bond, like Bond on the small screen, non-stop. Oh God, what a shame. What do you reckon? Direct to streaming Bond?
Yeah,
James Bond. His name will be James Bond.
Jane Band. Played by Cynthia Erivo.
It was a super chat about that, actually, hilariously. Zephyr. Next James Bond, Cynthia Erivo. Yes, mate. Make it happen now, Jennifer. I dare you. I dare you.
Make James Bond a screeching, narcissistic black lesbian.
Demon. Gollum-looking mofo. Anyway, this is just hilarious. This is not going to be this is not going to be good. I don't want to be all, like, you know, super negative Nancy on this, but the track record that Amazon has at the moment isn't particularly good, obviously. So the chances of this being good, it is incredibly, incredibly slim. Closing thoughts, guys. Anything else to add?
I'm sad. I mean, I'm immensely sad. I love James Bond all the way through the first of Daniel Craig's movies. Everything after that has been shit. I like James Bond as a character, the original. But again, I think Daniel Craig, obviously, who is, you know, definitely not the person he tried to pretend to be, is one of the major faults with the new portrayal of Bond and the direction that it went. I think Barbara got her arm twisted a little bit. Michael just didn't care. So, I think we were ending up with a play, paint by numbers Bond, even up through the third Daniel Craig film. The balance of them have been nonsensical. And to be fair, there's a better replacement for it called Kingsman. So,
yeah.
So there's that. Anyway.
Well, the Bourne films, they were a pretty good replacement for James Bond as well at one point. Bourne Identity, etc. Blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
Anyway,
and that's what happened.
Impossible
right?
films. Yeah.
But that's what happened, though, is that the James Bond all of a sudden started to try to be Bourne because of Bourne's popularity, and because
that's a good point.
They were so slow to bring the films to market. I mean, the gap between Bond films was ridiculous. So you'd think we'd be beyond the where we are now with the franchise, but we're not. All these years later. And a built-in ability to replace the actors. That's bad. It's bad. Anyway.
It's just sad. It's, I've got really great memories of watching old James Bonds, like, with my grandfather and stuff. I occasionally will put on the James Bond playlist that I've got on Spotify for all my favorite Bond songs, because there are some bangers in there and there's some terrible ones. But yeah, it's sad, and we're gonna see. I mean, I guarantee you now, you're gonna get black James Bond. You're gonna get a female James Bond. You're gonna get a black female James Bond. It's they're just gonna do what Amazon does.
Yeah, I mean, they have their own sort of paint by numbers approach to properties. To be fair, so yeah, we can say with a relative certainty that there's going to be some things which they will just do, and those things will be one of them. But there you go.
They'll definitely double. Yeah, I was gonna say they're definitely gonna double down on what's been going on lately, where the Bond girl is going to become the main character of the movie and kick the most ass.
Yeah, I'd say that's right. So there you go. What a shame. Bond is dead. Let's move on.